Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
The federal government is to tap all available potential in the agriculture sector to accelerate food security. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Alhaji Abubakar Kyari, who stated this in Abuja when he assumed office, explained that the vision was to actualize the renewed hope of President Bola Tinubu to accelerate food security.
Hunger is one of the big problems that we have in this country. And when I say hunger, it also means food. And there are challenges in food production. Insecurity is one, flooding is another, pests and other issues. But for me, and I think my colleague, and even state governors, the biggest hope we have is the political will driven by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
His Minister of State counterpart, Dr. Sabi Abdullahi, said all efforts will be geared toward the attainment of food security.
With the Renew Hope agenda of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, and to ensure that the rechristening of Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is not without a purpose. Mr. President has already declared emergency on food security, and I'm sure when we get down to work, we'll understand the import of our mission.
The Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, said agriculture was the only weapon to fight hunger.
The only alternative we have is to invest in commercial agriculture, modern agriculture, irrigated agriculture, green technology, emerging technology, rainwater harvesting, among others. That's the only solution. Our population is growing in quick geometrical ratio, while our food supply is dwindling. Unless something is being done, we shall never get rid of these problems.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Ernest Omahiere, gave an assurance that the staff would support them to achieve their vision.
We're not done with the agri sector, and to speak on areas of focus by the new Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, my colleague Aliu Tumba interacted with Professor Bolagade Ayoola of Farm and Infrastructure Foundation and Chairman, Voices for Food Security.
I want to begin by congratulating the new ministers for this important assignment in their hands, coming onto the scene at a time when the agricultural development of this country is at a crossroads. So in terms of focus, I'd like to say that the focus has been set for the agriculture ministers at this important time. There are two ways that this focus has been prepared. One way is that even before their appointment, the president had declared a state of emergency in the food security arena of this country, which means that the president has waged a war against hunger in this country. Therefore, that focus is very sharp, and that is the first port of call for the new ministers. Secondly, the president has escalated status of food security to that of national security and moved it as an item on the agenda of the National Security Council. That is also significant to note that President is obsessed with the intention, a good one for that matter, to address hunger problems of this country. The second way by which the focus has been preset for these ministers in the agriculture sector is that before even the appointment, before this new government came to power, way back in March of this year, the Right to Food Act has been passed into law. And that is also a very significant development to note, that the generality of people in this country had prioritized food security among many other requirements they have from this government. All added together, in addition to the fact that the name of the ministry had changed from Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. These added together implies that the special focus of these ministers should be on the food security of this country. And the reason for this is not far-fetched. It has been estimated that up to 133 million Nigerians among the 200 million people, which constitute the vast majority of the people, are wallowing in extreme poverty. At the center of all forms of poverty is food poverty, hunger, which is a serious problem.
That was Ayoola Tumba speaking with Professor Bolagade Ayoola of Farm and Infrastructure Foundation and Chairman, Voices for Food Security, on possible areas of focus for the new Minister of Agriculture and Food